We laugh about it every week.
Like I never left.
But how long is that sustainable? I also think that it hurts
tell
your
your
viewing
friends.
experience. Now, I know some of you might be
Avengers.
like, well, just change your mindset. But it's hard because of these things that I'm pointing out to you. The way the show, the Marvel
these aren't
Disney
one-and-done
Plus shows
kind
are
of things.
constructed.
With S.H.I.E.L.D. on the
For instance,
defensive,
on
we
the
need to
first watch, you constantly feel like time is running out because you know there's only 5 episodes left. So in episode 1, just like when we would watch WandaVision, you'd be like, what are you doing? You don't have time for this. And also, it's alarming. Don't worry, there's no spoilers in this episode, but a few things that aren't spoilers, I have to give you some context, is that, for instance, Sam and Bucky never cross paths in episode 1. And you're like, how have they not met? They only have 5 episodes left, and there's not even a mention of Zemo or Sharon Carter. I mean, you really get concerned.
But if you get us these numbers, we'll have one hell of a good chance.
Very valuable
you can
time.
start
It's
any
like
of these by
sand
heading
running
to the
through
war
an
table.
hourglass, slipping
There'll
through
be
your
something
fingers.
in it
You're
for
like,
you,
oh
of
my
course.
God! And you just feel like the time's not being well utilized. Now, to be fair, there
Past
are more
experience, I
MCU
think so.
larger world references here in episode 1 than there were in the earlier episodes of WandaVision. But they're more thoughtful and poignant than mind-blowing. They're not big conversation starters. It's kind of like, that's pretty clever. Now, on that note, sure enough, when you go back and rewatch the episode, so that's good, I guess, right? I mean, when I rewatch it to rewatch, and you, again, now you have, you know what you're going to get, so you can really take it in a little bit more, you realize that it's a pretty interesting exploration of Bucky's PTSD and how he's a man out of time. You know, it's an interesting comparison. Steve never really lived in the real world when he was around as an Avenger. I mean, who knows what he's doing? I don't want to talk about it too much. It's great. But anyway, he never lived as a civilian. He was always with the Avengers. But here's Bucky trying to be a civilian, and it's fascinating. And then there's Sam, who's, this is really fascinating. This is great. This is an edgy choice, but I love it. Sam's trying to be a hero for his country and his family, yet in a parallel to Colin Kaepernick, which I really love this, and I didn't even realize it until the second watch. When the show talks, or is exploring that when he's not in costume, he discovers that his country doesn't care about him. And he's getting a lot of pushback from his family, too. It's really fascinating. It's really good. Both of these parallels
Where'd my stuff go?
very well in the first episode. And we'll get into them in depth in my episode breakdown to see just how good it is. Now, usually when I do a spoiler review, I'm breaking down all the clues and stuff like that, and like the powers and the mystery. But here, I'm breaking down a lot of points. And, you know, so that's like kind of the differences between the two shows so far. You know, again, on that note, there aren't a lot of Easter eggs in episode 1, but like WandaVision, it's a character study, a deep character study. So you have to be like, okay, let's do it. Episode 1 does end on a pretty darn good cliffhanger, though. But again, what's so interesting about it is the lens through which it's viewed. That's what makes it powerful, and it's an incredibly strong political and social commentary. And Falcon and Winter Soldier doesn't pull any punches commentary-wise. The show is incredibly frank for a Marvel project, because Marvel, like Disney, always tries to play nice with everyone. Bob Chapek even said that recently on the shareholder call. He's like, Disney loves everybody. Disney's neutral. Disney's the Switzerland of entertainment. And everyone's like, that's not true. But anyway, the show is also a surprisingly strong reflection of our current political and
now
societal
directs all daily
issues.
operations within AIM.
I know some of you might be like, I don't want that in my
believes she is
Marvel
spinning up
content.
several
Well,
dangerous
maybe
new
you should,
initiatives.
especially when it's so
But to
well
what
done.
end, we have
I
yet
mean,
to
it's really
discover.
well done, and we'll discuss it in the
Since
breakdown.
recovering
And
the
there are
S.H.I.E.L.D.
many,
protocols,
it's
our
surprising how
priority
many
is now to
players
help
are on the
Commander
stage,
Maria Hill
and how many,
get S.H.I.E.L.D.
and
back
how
on
it
its
just
feet.
in 40 minutes.
The
You know, it's
protocols have
weird.
revealed the
There aren't,
locations
this is
of
how I
several
would describe
S.H.I.E.L.D.
it. There aren't like so many MCU Easter eggs, but there are so many like real world news Easter eggs. You're like, oh, that's a reference to that real world thing. And oh, that's a reference to that real world thing. Ah, that's really cool. And if you're into news and history and, you know, American and world history, it's really interesting.
As well as agents in the
So
field
I
who could
wonder how
use
big
our
that
help.
audience is.
The
We
rest
will
of
find
Fury's
out.
vaults are proving to
Now, the
be,
show
well,
also doesn't hold back
tricky
when it
to
comes
locate.
to action. That's what everybody's hoping for with this show.